Yeah, thank you. So I've already started my sharing screen. Do you see my
We can
PowerPoint
see
screen,
it.
right?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can see
thank
it.
you. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening. I am Fumio Shimpo, professor at Keio University, Japan. Today's my presentation title is The Intersection of EU AI Act and JIS, a Japanese industrial standards, conformity assessment for high-risk AI system in comparative perspectives. And first of all, I would like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to Professor Georg Borges. He has graciously invited me to participate in today's session. And I invited Professor Borges as a visiting professor at Keio University. And also, he is a key participant in the Moonshot Research and Development Project. And his contribution to this cutting-edge research have been instrumental in advancing this field. And I am honored to be here thanks to his invitation. And let me introduce myself. The area of my expertise is constitutional law, cyber law, and robot law. And I was responsible for a former commissioner for the International Academic Exchange at Japanese Personal Information Protection Commission, and also the former vice chair of the OECD Working Party on Security and Privacy in the Digital Economy. And as I mentioned, I invited Professor Borges as a participant in the Moonshot Research and Development Project. But the title is Moonshot, but it doesn't mean that I chose to fly to the moon. The Moonshot Research and Project is regarding a cybernetic avatar, realization of a society that you can use cybernetic avatars safely and securely. And currently, I am responsible for the project manager of this Moonshot Research and Development Project. And let's begin my presentation. So as you can see on the slide titled Major Principles, Japan has been steadily advancing its effort to establish guidelines in line with the global initiatives. In response to these developments, Japan began its effort in 2017 and has continued to evolve its guidelines up to the present day. These guidelines are designed to ensure the safe, ethical, and effective use of AI, reflecting Japan's commitment to aligning with international standards while addressing domestic needs. And overview of Japan's AI regulatory policies. So in this presentation, I will focus on the Japan's approach to AI governance, particularly how we are addressing the challenges posed by emerging AI technologies through guidelines and standards, rather than through strict legal regulations by comparing the EU AI Act. And Japan's approach for AI regulation is primarily guided by soft law approach, and rather than legal regulations, with a strong emphasis on voluntary guidelines and directives. And these guidelines developed by the Japanese government has been proactive in establishing the AI R&D draft guidelines. So this is the first guideline issued in 2017, and this guideline, its purpose is AI policy in Japan, organized from the publication of these guidelines. Among other initiatives, aims to promote ethical and responsible use of AI while fostering innovation. And such proposals have also been incorporated into the OECD AI principles. However, these are the basic philosophies of these guidelines, and So, and scope, and also this guideline issues AI and R&D principles. However, the absence of legally binding regulations raises questions about the effectiveness of this approach. So especially when compared to more formal regulatory frameworks seen in other regions, particularly EU. And I would like to hear the opinions of today's participants are here today and on regarding whether such a non-legally binding approach is effective. Because while companies with a high awareness of legal compliance follow such guidelines, however, these guidelines are not effective against criminal or illegal activities. The AI governance approach that Japan has pursued consists of detailed guidelines, which can be valuable as a reference. However, I have consistently raised doubts about its effectiveness. To provide better understanding of this issue, I'd like to begin by introducing the significance and challenges of Japan's various voluntary initiatives to promote AI governance. And I have already mentioned that this is the first guideline. In 2017, this is the first guideline regarding the research and development guidelines for international discussions. This guideline mentioned regarding the 9 principles was publicized as draft on AI research and development guidelines. And the next guideline is AI. I'm afraid. Next guidelines in 2018. Next approach to integrating AI within the framework of Society 5.0. So this is one of the strategies of the Japanese government, emphasizing the importance of creating an AI-ready society. This document begins by highlighting the challenges modern society faces, such as environmental problems, economic disparity, and resource depletion. Japan is uniquely positioned to address these issues using AI, particularly in light of its aging population and labor shortages. And the next guideline was issued in 2019. And this guideline, AI Utilization Guidelines, outlines the principles and practical measures for the utilization of artificial intelligence, aiming to foster trust and mitigate risk while promoting the benefits of AI. This document starts by discussing the rapid progress expected in AI research and development and utilization. Japan has been actively leading international discussions on AI principles, contributing significantly to frameworks like OECD AI guidelines and G20 AI principles. The guidelines aim to provide practical reference points for AI service providers, business users, and other stakeholders to ensure responsible AI utilization. And next is, in 2022, Governance Guideline for Implementation of AI Principles provides a comprehensive framework to guide companies in developing and operating AI system responsibly. This is the content of AI governance guidelines. And finally, in this year, AI guidelines for business has been issued. So this guideline provides comprehensive guidance for businesses involved in the development, provision, and use of AI. It aims to promote responsible AI utilization while mitigating associated risks. And this is the basic concept of AI guidelines for business and support for voluntary efforts by businesses, coordination with international discussions, ease of understanding for readers. So this is the basic concept of this guideline. And this document begins by discussing the rapid evolution of AI technologies and their growing role in business innovations and addressing social challenges. The emergence of interactive generative AI has democratized AI usage, promoting companies to integrate AI into their business models. And also, I have already mentioned regarding the Japanese strategy regarding the Society 5.0 vision aims for a human-centric society that emerges as cyberspace and physical space through cyber-physical systems. So this is the structure of AI guidelines for businesses. Today, the purpose of my presentation is just introducing the which kind of guidelines has been issued in Japan. So today I do not mention in details about each content of the guidelines. So this means that in Japan there are many guidelines, and so regarding from the point of the compliance to and also the effort for making such research and development and also utilization principles, it must be effective for making such guidelines. However, from the point of the complexity and also effectiveness, I have doubt about its effectiveness, and also there are much progress. So next is also the typical example of promoting voluntary initiatives is Japan's leadership in this Hiroshima AI process. And key points from the G7 leaders' statement of Hiroshima AI process is transformative potential of AI. So this Hiroshima AI process was released in last year, 2023. And this Hiroshima AI process represents a significant step towards creating a global framework for the responsible development and use of AI by emphasizing inclusive governance, continuous adaptation, and broad multi-stakeholder engagement. The process aims to ensure that AI technologies are developed and deployed in ways that benefit society while addressing potential risks. And this is the structure of the Hiroshima AI process. So it constitutes from international guiding principles and also international code of conduct. And furthermore, the OECD Ministerial Council held on this year in May, with the participation of 49 countries and regions. Japan announced the formation of Hiroshima AI Process Friends Group. So this voluntary framework aims to cooperate on the practical application of international guidelines to ensure that the people around the world can use AI safely, securely, and reliability. I think this initiative serves as a model for international collaboration to promote the appropriate use of AI, enhancing its social trustworthiness by advancing the practical implementation of these guidelines. And next is today's key point of the conformity assessment for AI system in comparative perspectives. AI regulations and governance in Japan has mostly involved self-regulation and non-binding guidelines, not legal regulation. I believe that these approaches are problematic in terms of effectiveness and that new AI regulation needs to be disciplined through legislation and the establishment of new supervisory bodies. So the objective or objectives of the AI governance initiatives and soft law and non-binding guidelines are effective insofar as they show the way to organizations and private companies on how they can follow the recommendation and opinions of such guidelines while promoting their own interest. However, there is no strict law or binding regulation on specific AI issues. So in this context, the tools of soft law may turn out to be ineffective either because they are not simply binding or they do not represent any certain guide to the conundrum of legal interpretation. So this slide focuses on significant shift in regulatory approaches moving away from the idea of soft law being primarily about self-discipline and self-regulation. Instead, it highlights the need for measures that reduce resistance to hard law by introducing regulations even in areas where there has been persistent opposition, such as statutory prohibition on substantive matters. And this approach will allow us to optimize AI regulation in line with international trends, ensuring that Japan's AI regulatory policies are forward-thinking and aligned with global development. Such measures will contribute to the future policy framework for AI governance, particularly in the area of AI research, development, and usage. Therefore, the ultimate goal is to ensure that AI regulations are crafted in a way that supports AI governance, providing both flexibility and necessary oversight for the responsible use of AI technologies. So next is a comparison of safety regulations in the EU AI Act and the Japanese industrial standards. And Japan has various harmonized standards for example, electric and electronic appliance and electronic products, including Japan industrial standards. And it is harmonized with international ISO, International Organization for Standardization, and also IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission standards. One key element of Japan's approach is focusing on management system based on the Japanese industrial standards. This JIS framework is deeply rooted in international standards, particularly those of ISO and IEC, and Japan has working diligently to implement ISO standards. For example, please let me see. So these are AI-related international standards which are considered in ISO IEC JTC1 SC42. So these AI-related international standards have been now under deliberation. So by thinking that such ISO standards as JIS standards, which are well established in various industries, and this process has been extended to AI system as well. Furthermore, as a part of corporate efforts to comply with laws and regulations, diverse management system standards have been created. These include ISO standards for quality, environment, occupational health, and safety. For example, one of the leading such management system in Japan is a privacy mark system using JIS Q15001. And also Information Security Management System, ISMS initiatives following JIS Q27001 is also very effective way of management system. So such initiatives based on management system standards are in place and have a good track record of implementation. For example, Japan is advancing efforts to integrate ISO standards specifically related to AI into its own regulatory landscape. This includes the creation of AI management system. So European Union AI Act provides a conformity assessment system, and also it will lead the conformity assessment system will constitute from the AI management system. So this approach encourages companies to bluntly comply with best practice for AI development, focusing on safety, accountability, and transparency. The emphasis here is on building a trust through bluntly conformities to standard rather than imposing mandatory legal requirement. In terms of conformity assessment, Japan is aligned with ISO's approach, which allows for flexible yet structured way of ensuring that AI systems meet the necessary safety and ethical standards. This system provides a framework for organizations to manage their AI systems in a responsible manner without heavy strict legal mandates. Therefore, by adopting flexible approach, Japan aims to strike a balance between promoting technological innovation and ensuring the ethical deployment of AI. However, there are still challenges. Question remains as to whether the reliance on bluntly guidelines and JIS standards will be sufficient to address the rapidly evolving risk associated with AI technologies. From the point of the intersection of EU AI Act and JIS, Japanese Industrial Standards, now we are not new management standards for AI system and application would, however, require amending. For example, now we have already using the Japanese Electronic Appliance and Material Safety Law to establish it is called the PSE mark. So in the European Union approach, EU AI Act will use CE mark. So therefore, from the point of the AI system conformity assessment, it remains to be seen that whether this could be the most robust normative answer for the Japanese side. So in conclusion, so Japanese approach to AI governance is distinct in its emphasis on voluntary compliance and the use of international standards like ISO, adapted through the JIS system. While this approach provides a flexible framework that encourages innovation, and it also faces challenges in ensuring that AI systems are deployed responsibly and safely. And I'm running out of time, and I have more presentation sheet to introduce our research project, Moonshot Research Project. And so today I do not have time to introduce my project, but only could you take a look at the humanoids. Now we are developing autonomous robot and also teleoperating robot by using such humanoid. So in the future, so such the idea of today's conformity assessment system or emerging technology regulation draws on the proposal of our research project, Moonshot Research and Development Project. Thank you for listening my presentation. If you have any questions, could you raise your hand?